there, and welcome to our very first episode of
Teacher Talk for Parents.
And I'm Helen.
I'm Donna.
And in today's episode number 1, well, it's summertime, and as teachers, I was a teacher, Donna's still a teacher, but I remember when there was that first week of school, time to start back school, we know that the first couple of weeks is going to be review.
It's a lot of review. Oftentimes you're going back to lessons that you ended the last year with and going over basic instruction that you had
right.
done
And in my mind, I'm always like, did their teacher teach them what they were supposed to know at the end of by what I'm expecting them to know?
And sometimes there is that blame game with teachers.
I know.
As a fourth grade teacher, you're like, did that third grade teacher teach this? Because these kids are not.
They seem so far behind.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
But here's the deal. For summer vacation, that's 2.5 or that's 2 months.
Yep.
Of if your kid is, home with his brothers and sisters, hanging out with cousins, going to visit grandma, they're probably not getting that academics daily that they need.
Yeah, I think, there are elements that grandma might put in place. There might be some reading.
True. And grandpa.
But is there academic instruction? We don't know. I think our podcast is going to help you with that.
Exactly. So we're not saying that grandma and grandpa they have to become teachers or that parents have to become teachers. These are just our quick tips and ideas on how to get a bit of education in every day because it's necessary. Then they won't go back to school in September and be 2 months behind. And it's not just us. Like there's real studies out there showing that kids fall 2 months behind. Yeah,
there's different phrases. They call it brain drain or the summer slump. There are other phrases that they call it. Just really it's all about the fact that a lot of children are just not ready when they come back in September.
So we're going to get your kid ready for the next grade so that their new teacher is like, wow, you're so impressive.
But we do want them to be impressed. We want to be impressed, and so should you. So we're going to help you. So we have a few notes.
Okay, so these are just like little tips and examples of different subjects, teachable moments throughout the day. So let's start with math. You're going shopping, you come home from work, you have to go to the grocery store, take your K through 5th grader along. Of course, you're not going to do the same kind of talking and math with the 5th grader that you're going to do with a kindergartner. But the idea is take them to the grocery store with you, have them do some math in the grocery store.
Yeah, and it's simple. It's not that you need a notebook or a pencil or a ruler. Those are added things that you could definitely have. But in the grocery store, there's tons of things to do that will support math instruction.
So, for example, let's say 3 through 5th grade. They can go around and things that you put in the cart, they're calculating it. Now, do they have to calculate $1.59 for macaroni, $1.79 for soda? No, they can just round it to the nearest dollar or the nearest up. Have them calculate so that by the time you get to the line, they can give you a rough estimate of how much your cart costs.
And in what you just said, Helen, there are 3 different things. There are counting, rounding, calculating, which I guess is counting, and even grouping. As you're talking about oranges and lemons, and you're grouping fruits, you're grouping
exactly, and
cans,
that's a math skill. Grouping,
all math skills.
So they can group things in categories within the cart. Dairy over here. There's your science lesson in the grocery store. Dairy over here. Meat over here. So there's science and math,
and just that simple suggestion you gave. 3 different ideas, 3 different ways to incorporate some kind of instruction, some kind of academic ideas at the grocery store.
How about K through 2nd grade at the grocery store?
Well, we talked about grouping. I think that's important. Just identifying what it is, shapes.
Yeah. So if something is I think that they would be able to handle like using their fingers up to 10. Like, I have these 3 items and they're each, let's say, close to $1. How much altogether? Like, parent, you could ask, how many are these things going to cost if they each, if each item is $1?
Yeah.
And then they count like $7 total. $8 total.
Yep. And then challenge. So if there's $8 altogether, what if I took one away? Then what? So now we're doing subtraction.
Exactly. That's something to do while you're standing in line.
That's right.
Which a kindergartner needs to learn how to do before they get back to
Another
school
lesson.
anyway. How to stand in line.
And be patient. Yes.
Hopefully the lines in your grocery store are straight.
Yes.
Because lines in classrooms need to be straight. And kindergartners, that's a whole other, like, 3 weeks.
But important lesson. And teachers spend a lot of time in the beginning of the year with routines and rules, and that will just support that teacher as your child goes into the classroom in September.
Yes. Another science is when you go to the park, you can do nature, earth, animals.
Yep.
Weather is great. Humidity in the summer, there's a different, like, teach them the difference one day when it's super humid. Talk to them about humidity and moisture versus dry heat.
You're challenging them with that one. That's a good one.
Parents, it's just a matter of taking that 1 minute to ask the right questions, to capture the teachable moment, and it'll take like 2 minutes.
And it's something you can do on the spot as well. You don't have to walk around with these tips, but just having that understanding that every place you go is a teachable moment will really support not only us as teachers, but your child when they come back.
Yes, and I just thought of something.
Yeah.
In the elevator, like in my elevator in my building, I saw that this little child, weren't even in pre-K, I don't think.
Yeah.
Counting the floors as they go up.
I love that.
You count the floors as you go up. So
simple. Very simple.
Yeah.
Very simple. Okay, I like that.
So social studies.
Yes.
That's kind of an easy one if you watch the news.
Yeah.
Watch the news and have a 1 or 2 minute conversation on something in your community.
Yep.
And of course you vary it according to kindergarten, what's appropriate for 3rd grade, 5th grade, etc.
Yeah, and what's appropriate for your child. Some children can handle certain topics, others, are not quite ready for that. So you just want to, your child, what they can handle regarding current events and topics around the community and the world. Regarding social studies, geography.
Right.
We could use some help as teachers. We could use some help, parents, with geography. Having your child know the states, but even something more local, knowing their streets, knowing their neighborhoods.
Right, knowing their address. Your kindergartner even should know their address, phone number. Like, these are important things. The street, like what street do you live on? Not that they're going to tell strangers this, but it's something they need to know.
They need to know these basic things, and just knowing their local neighborhood, their park, a name of their park. Where is that? Do we go north? Do we go south? Those are all social studies concepts that would be great if they came in knowing.
Speaking of neighborhood, neighborhood library.
Oh, yes.
You go to your neighborhood library, and that's your reading.
I like libraries.
They can go check out books.
Yes.
And parents, if you do a bedtime story, ask 1 or 2 questions about the character. Ask about, what happened, or what do you think about this character, and have them tell you their opinion.
Yep. So teachers tend to use this thing we call 5 W's and an H. So it's who, what, when, where, why, and how. So using those first words of the first word of the sentence to create a question. Who is the character? Where did they go? What did they do? Those kinds of questions will really support your child understanding the book that they're reading. And of course, how is the most challenging question. How did the character get from here to there? How did they feel when they found mom? How did they learn their street names? Whatever the character is going through or whatever is happening in the book, 5 W's and an H will help you create questions for your child.
Exactly. And I think we got to every subject, not except writing. And writing, it's have them create a journal at the end of, have them sit for 10 or 15 minutes at the kitchen island while you're cooking. And if they're K through first grade, have them draw how their day was and, write their name, the date, and a couple sentences about their day. If they're older, have them sit for 15 minutes while you're, doing whatever, and have them, it's just making them comfortable with writing.
Yes, and learning some of these things that you're teaching them and getting used to thinking and learning how to understand and answer higher order questions. And how awesome would it be at the end of the summer for you to have this journal of pictures and words and ideas and concepts that they've learned over the summer, and then to bring that to the teacher.
Because a lot of times in the classroom too, the first week for a couple of days of school, you're like, because we have to get to know our students. And so we asked them, how was your summer? What did you do? And how many times do you get nothing? I did nothing.
A lot.
Even if you just went to the park, tell us. Be able to verbalize things. And that happens with conversation.
Yes.
And conversation is not just about in school. It starts at home and outside and with grandma and grandpa.
The grocery store.
The grocery store, exactly.
Yeah.
So parents, I want you to think about what 1 or 2 things you can do this week. Some of our tips that we gave, try it out.
Simple ideas, nothing too complicated for your child, something that they can definitely do. What are some tips that you use? We gave you a few suggestions. Let us know what you use, what you liked, what you didn't like, what your child liked, what they didn't like. We're curious. We're nosy.
That's your takeaway, parents. 2 things. Try it out. Let us know how it worked. And how are they going to let us know, Donna?
Well, we're on social media. So we're on the gram. So hit us up at Teacher Talk for Parents on Instagram.
And the 4 is the number 4, not FOR. So it's Teacher Talk number 4 Parents.
And that's the same thing for our Facebook page as well as our email. So you can email us as well at Teacher Talk for Parents, number 4 at Gmail.
But I think we would prefer Facebook and Instagram because then
pictures.
Right? And other parents that are on Instagram or other people on Instagram and Facebook can also get ideas from you.
Yes.
It's kind of like we're forming a community to help each other. So whatever tips or questions you might have for us, if you put it on social media, then other people can benefit and help and get help from what you did, what you tried.
Help us to help you, to help us to help you.
Exactly.
It's a
That's
nice
what it's all
community
about.
Circle.
That's what our Teacher Talk for Parents is all about. Thanks for joining us in our very first episode.
I had fun. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
We did it. We did it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.